Please stand for the processional. Please be seated.
Let's rise for the invocation and presentation of colors. Let us bow our heads in prayers. Father, we come before you today with hearts filled with gratitude and joy as we celebrate this remarkable day, a day that marks the fulfillment of years of hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Thank you for guiding us through the challenges, late nights, and moments of uncertainty that have shaped our journey. Through every test and trials, you have been our source of wisdom, strength, and endurance. We thank you for every person who has been part of this journey, our families, mentors, professors, and friends. Their love, encouragement, and belief in us have carried us when the road was long. May they be richly blessed for the roles they have played in helping us reach this moment. As we stand at the threshold of new beginnings, we ask for your continued guidance. Lead us in paths of purpose and integrity. Help us to use the knowledge and skills we have gained, not only for personal success, but also to bring light, hope, and positive change to the world around us. Grant us the courage to face the unknown, the humility to keep learning, and the compassion to serve others wherever life takes us. We pray for unity, peace, and understanding among us, that the friendships and connections formed here will continue to inspire and uplift us long after we leave this place. May today remind us that this achievement is not the end, but the beginning of greater things you have prepared for each of us. We also pray for this institution, its leaders, and all who will come after us. May it continue to be a place of learning, growth, and inspiration for generations to come. Bless this ceremony, every graduate, and everyone present here today. Let your presence fill this place with joy and purpose. Amen.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please remain standing for the presentation of colors by the Lamar County High School ROTC.
Carry, colors. Forward, march. Colors reverse, march. Colors, halt. Present arms.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
Graduates, faculty, families, and honored guests, good morning. It is truly an honor to welcome you to the University of Georgia Griffin Campus Fall 2025 graduation celebration and bricklaying dedication. Today we gather to celebrate the perseverance, the achievements, and the bright future that lies ahead for these graduates. Graduates, in recent years, you've faced numerous challenges, from COVID to tornadoes, to final exams, to dissertations. Yet in every instance, you tackled every challenge, you surmounted every barrier, and overcame every obstacle. Your resilience and determination have brought you to this milestone that we recognize here today, and we are proud to honor your many successes. Every member of the Griffin campus team plays a role in supporting the development of our students, but your journey has most closely been guided by the exceptional staff and faculty. Students on the UGA Griffin campus benefit greatly from our low student to faculty ratio, which ensures personalized instruction for every student from world-renowned educators. And we know from conversations with our alumni that this personalized attention prepares them better for the career challenges ahead. Graduates, today we celebrate your hard work and achievement, but let us also make it a point to recognize the many family members and friends who supported you and made this moment possible. Their encouragement and support made this day possible. Please join me in showing them our greatest appreciation. This ceremony marks the 38th graduation celebration on the Griffin campus. With your success, you join a proud tradition of more than 700 alumni who have earned their degrees right here on this campus. Congratulations, you are now part of that legacy. Now I will give the stage over to our student who will be introducing our speaker for today.
Good morning. My name is Haley Robacher, and I'm a senior pursuing degrees in psychology and interdisciplinary studies. Over the last couple of years, I've taken numerous courses with Dr. Perry Buffington, and am privileged to share with you all a little bit about one of the best and brightest UGA has to offer before you hear the wisdom he has to share. We students call him Dr. Buff, and that's not just because it rolls off the tongue, but because he has several degrees, 4 of them in fact, and he says they're essential. But he always adds, it's not the degrees you hold, it's what you do with them that counts. Another piece of advice we often hear from Dr. Buff is that as a point of practicality, you should plan on 3 careers in one lifetime. And the reason for that piece of advice may be because he has worn many hats himself. Dr. Buff's first career was a child psychologist. He says he was a great diagnostician, but a lousy therapist. As a student, we can attest to that. He has no problem telling you what you need to do, whether you want to hear it or not, and he's usually right. He is not one to sugarcoat and will supportively share the reminder to deal and grow because he knows and believes we can. Dr. Buff's second career was in print, radio, and television. He was a contributing editor for Delta Airlines, in-flight magazine Sky, and wrote over 100 consecutive monthly articles, reaching 60 million readers a year. This audience resulted in landing him on the national and international lecture circuit. He was one of the first consulting faculty members of Walt Disney Institute in Orlando. He had his own syndicated radio show through Envision Radio Networks, a syndicated newspaper column through Universal Press, and he also appeared weekly on WXIA TV in Atlanta. He has written over 14 books, mainly in the field of pop psychology, but also wrote a book on the history of Atlanta for the 1996 Olympics. After about 15 years in media relations, it was time for his third career. He returned to graduate school and earned an advanced degree in clinical psychopharmacology, after which he passed the licensing exam, thereby becoming a medical or prescribing psychologist. With his 4th degree in hand, he took to the classroom, or should I say classrooms. In some classrooms, he provides continuing education for healthcare professionals like physicians and nurse practitioners. In other classrooms, he teaches, guides, nudges, pushes, and prods his undergraduate students pursuing their bachelor's degree. And now that he has mastered 3 careers, he has a 4th. Dr. Buff's first book of fiction, Christmas in Angel Land, published by Christian Faith Publishers, is available at bookstores everywhere. The sequel is set to release next Christmas, and the threequel is scheduled for 2028. Clearly, he's done a lot, and he's not finished yet. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Dr. Perry Buffington.
And good morning, everyone. And the congregation said, and good morning, everyone. Oh, that's better. That's better. Now, if I do my job right, you will laugh twice, cry once. So sit back and let me see if I can help you guys out. Now, my job today is to be meaningful and to be motivational. So I decided, being the brilliant researcher that I am, that all starts with a question. And my question was, what is it that makes a graduation speech so good? So being the world-renowned, apparently, researcher that I am, I went to our lovely librarian, who's the unsung hero on this campus, and we found all these refereed articles about what makes a perfect graduation speech, one that you will remember. It was worthless. So then after doing all that research, I said, well, I'll just do what the students do. So I went to ChatGPT. Okay, that's a really good joke. We'll try it again. So doing what all my students do, I just went straight to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT gave me some good advice. For instance, they said, make sure that we include gratitude. So be happy, be thankful. Okay, check, that's done. Now, moving on to the next, it says, make sure you reflect. So let's take a moment and reflect. Dealing with persnickety professors, dealing with exams, Riley dealing with her favorite course in research, which she absolutely adored. Okay? Jumping when the professor says jump, even though you know the assignment is just first rate, A number 1, stupid. Okay? Dealing with, since I've got a captive audience of administrators, dealing with administrivia. Okay, that's done. All right, now moving right along, ChatGPT said lessons learned. What all have you learned? You learned to be thankful. You've learned to suck up appropriately to your professors where you need to. Okay, that's done. Okay, now also ChatGPT said look for hope and vision. God, I wish I could do a better job with that. Have you seen the job market? Good luck, and tell your parents hello and enjoy the basement. And now that that's done, ChatGPT said speak from the heart. Can you feel the love? Riley, can you feel the love? Is it showing? Harvey, I'm going to miss you. Can you feel the love? Good, we've got that done. And now ChatGPT said be brief. Trust me, that's going to happen. And then ChatGPT also said avoid humor. Cannot do it. Life is too short. I poke fun at everything. Religion, sex, race, politics. That's just low-hanging fruit. I mean, I poke fun at everything. And I tell my students on day 1, I said I have a wicked sense of humor. And if it offends you, deal and grow. Because these kinds of things need to be discussed and discussed often. And then I decided, now that do you feel properly motivated? Do you feel properly moved that you may actually remember who the speaker is? Because I'm telling you, I've done 52 of these things, and I don't barely remember who did last year, and he's my best friend. So the bottom line is, I'm going to try to be memorable, and it dawned on me, why don't I share with you guys what I've learned from my students? Instead of my pontificating wisdom and scholarly knowledge and brightness and things you need to know, let me tell you what I've learned in my 52 years of teaching. And I'm going to do it with some of my favorite students. Now, for those of you who are afraid of all this kind of stuff, trust me, HIPAA, FRIPAs, and GRIPAs, I'm protected. I've changed the names. But I'm going to tell you what I've learned. And what I've learned from these students are life lessons that I've taken with me through my 52 years of teaching. Let's start with Norman. I had him one of the first years I ever taught. Great kid, absolute sweetheart. He had me for one of those Psych 101 classes where you had 150 to 200 students. And he came in one day and I was teaching a lesson on creativity. And he raised his hand and said, Dr. Buffington, this Michelangelo fella, was he the guy who painted the 16 chapels? And I went, Norman, I think you mean Sistine Chapels, because I'm fairly secure he had no idea it was named after Pope Sextus. But the bottom line is, he laughed, the whole classroom laughed, that was the end of it. So Christmas rolled around, And he came into class, he was taking another course with me, and he raised his hand and said, this is going to date me. And he said, Dr. Buffington, guess what I got for Christmas? He said, my father gave me a quadriplegic stereo. And I went, Norm, I think you mean quadraphonic stereo. He laughed, but not as loud, and the whole room just went wild. So I was teaching cognitive psych, and he had the pleasure of being in my class again. And I was talking about visual acuity in certain animals, notably birds. Now I'm going to put the slide up because he raised his hand and he said, Dr. Buffington, guess what I saw outside my window? Now if I tell you what he said how he said this, because he transposed the words, we're all going to end up in harassment training again because it was lewd, salacious, lascivious, vulgar, and just downright funny. But the point is, the whole entire room laughed and he didn't. And when he didn't laugh, I went, I know the problem. This kid has an auditory processing error. I was glad I'd taken all my electives in special ed assessment. We got him fixed. He never malaproped again, and he is now a retired surgeon. So what lesson did I learn from Norm? Well, I'll tell you in a minute. So one day, the dean called. Now, as a general rule, for those of you who don't know, when the dean calls, you take the call. Some deans more than others. Because I've been in this business 52 years. And not all academics, they all kind of look alike after a while. They don't all smell alike. But when the dean calls, you take the call. And the dean's never going to tell you the whole truth of it because they want you to do something. So the dean called and she said, Buff, we've had a professor taken sick. Would you mind teaching a research class? Now, everybody knows how I love to teach research. I live for that class. That's the biggest lie I've told all day, okay? So I said, sure, I'll do it. I'll help out because, maybe someone will take care of me. She forgot to tell me that there would be 25 students in there, all policemen. She forgot to tell me that there would be Georgia State patrolmen. She forgot to tell me that there would be corrections officers from the prison. She forgot to tell me that there would be county mounties. She forgot to tell me the real facts of what was going on. So I'm teaching this class, and I notice as I teach the class, the number of guns that come to class, because most of them came from work, become very, very visible. So I started thinking, okay, this week there was this many, and next time there was this many. Great way to teach chi-square. I'll point it out to them. So right before the exam, I said, guys, I've been noticing, and I've been doing a trend line on the number of guns that are coming into class, because most of them are coming from work. They laughed, and I said, okay, guys, fess up. Let me see the guns. Guns came out of socks. Guns came out of one female student, gun came out of a boosting halter. One guy had nunchucks. I have no idea where he kept those, and I don't want to know. Knives were everywhere, and I had this one big burly sheriff from South Georgia. He raised his hand and said, Dr. Buffington, those are just the guns you can see. And when I said that, every student had at least 4 to 5 weapons. Once I pointed it out to them, they were using them as security blankets. They were using them as whoopies. They were using them as a way to feel good because people, I'm 5'8" on a good day, which I don't use a podium because podium's for tall people. I'm 5'8" on a good day. Why was I so threatening to these people? So what lesson did I learn from them? Well, it was the same lesson I learned from Norm, and it's the same lesson. I'll tell you what it is in a second. Now this part, I can feel my amygdala kicking in. This part I didn't rehearse because I just wanted it to be stream of consciousness. So for my academic colleagues here, this is the type of student you live for. This is the type of student who comes around once in a teaching career. This is the type of student you have who changes your life and his. So anyway, Mike was on academic probation. He ended up in one of my big psychology classes. He walked into class, he was an angry kid. He walked into class, threw his book on the table, didn't even take out his pen. He had this angry scowl over his face. He walked in, crossed his arms, looked at me in a very passive-aggressive way, said, go ahead, teach me. Well, as I started using my wicked sense of humor, and started teaching my stories, he started leaning forward. He started listening in. He started paying attention. Just Psych 101. This kid was engaged. Now he started coming up to me after class and talking to me. Now he started asking me specific questions. He made an A in my course. He got off academic probation. He decided he wanted to major in psychology and fine arts. He decided he wanted to join a fraternity. He joined my fraternity, interestingly enough. And long story short, he was turning into the perfect student, dating an absolutely gorgeous female. Absolutely. When they walked in the room, they turned heads. And what was amazing about this kid was his life turned around. All because of a simple little Psych 101 class, because it helped him put his life back together. So I only taught him for 2 or 3 classes, but I kind of kept up with him. And it was a Sunday afternoon about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I got a phone call from Mike. He was getting ready to graduate. And Mike had been accepted into the Master of Fine Arts program at Yale. So he was doing very, very well. He called me and he said, Dr. B, I just want to thank you for all you've done for me. He said, I just want to thank you for just listening, and I just want to thank you for help me turn my life around. Then he said something to me for a 22-year-old male that caught me totally off guard on this Sunday afternoon phone call at 3 o'clock. He said, Dr. Buff, I just want you to know that I just love you. And he embarrassed me so, I think I said something like, aw shucks. So we ended the conversation with, keep in touch, I look forward to hearing from you. That was a Sunday afternoon. Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock, I get a phone call. I look at caller ID, it's Mike again. I go, great. Mike wants to tell me he loves me again. Okay, I can handle that phone call. It was Mike's father. And he said, Dr. Buffington, I need to tell you that Mike was killed in an industrial accident this afternoon. I need to tell you that he worked in the ice factory and he was caught in the machinery. And it was a horrible head injury and he's dead. I was incredulous. I was in tears. The kind of kid that comes around every 52 years in teaching. Then the father said, Dr. B, we have a favor to ask. Will you do the eulogy at his funeral? And I said, with honor. So his 40 fraternity brothers were honorary pallbearers. It was a high mass Catholic service. I was able to get a dispensation from the dead that day. One of the saddest funerals I've ever attended in my life, because he was 21, 22, had everything to live for, full ride at Yale, and he passed away. What did I learn from Mike? I'll tell you, it's the same lesson I learned from the students in that research class, those big burly cops, and it's the same lesson I learned from Norm. And you know, there are other students. I will never ever forget the student whose water broke in my class. And I'm going, thank God I watched Grey's Anatomy. Because I was looking around looking for shoestring and newspaper, because I just knew I was about to have to catch that baby. And it was getting pretty bad. It was getting serious. Fortunately, the mother showed up and took the kid to the hospital, but I'll never forget her. And I'll never forget the student who suffered grand mal seizures in my class. And she would say to the class, you know, I have seizures, just make sure I don't hit my head, but please don't call 911. And I'll never forget the student who ran afoul of the law. And all the Franklin College faculty on this campus went to testify on his behalf. I'll never forget the Asperger student I had who would memorize my textbook. And I would say something in class, and he would raise his hand, and he would go, Dr. Buffington, you said this, but on page 195, column B, paragraph 2, it says this. How do you square this answer? He's now an accountant. I'll never forget the student whose hair changed every week, sometimes daily, based on her mood. Interestingly enough, she's now faculty administration at a major university. We teach male reproductive health. I've been teaching this for 30 years, and when we teach the gentlemen in the class how to self-examine, every 10 years I'll find some student, or some student will find that they have testicular cancer. I've had 3. I average once every 10 years. The last student I taught was here on the Griffin campus who found he had testicular cancer, and for Christmas that year he gave me M&Ms with nuts, which I thought was the perfect Christmas present. And then I'll never forget the student who asked me to officiate at her wedding. She said, Buff, I need a favor. She put a 5th of Jack Daniels on the table and said, Buff, I need a favor. That's my Achilles heel. Will you please marry us? We're getting married. I had to become a minister. So if anybody needs marrying, hey, I'm a minister and a PhD. I'll never forget the students that when my mother was so sick, and I took her to the emergency room in Thomaston, and all of the people who took care of my mother were my students. I have 15 students right now in med school. So what did I learn from those students? Well, guys, especially over here, don't think that all of my students were goodness and light. I've had some pills. I can think of 1, 2, immediately come to mind, 3, 4, 5. I'll stop there. 5 years in pills. What made these so pills? No matter what I did, everything I did, Newton's third law was met with an equal and opposite criticism. One of them tore me to shreds on Rate My Professor, which we now use as a drinking game. So sometimes you have students that are challenging, that teach you more lessons. I still have this recurring dream. I had it 2 weeks ago. And the recurring dream is one of my challenging students. I'm in the emergency room being treated by one of my D students. So what did I learn from Norm? What did I learn from the cops? What did I learn from Mike? What did I learn from the challenging students? One very important. What did I learn from all of those? Water broke. What did I learn from all of those students? And the answer is one valuable lesson. So since I am now a writer of juvenile books, mysteries for kids, it is time, as Agatha Christie would say, for the denouement. What did I learn? This is the lesson I want you to remember. Okay? You're not going to remember my name. Okay? All I want you to remember, it was that short little old professor who's been teaching 52 years who taught me something that will get me through this lifetime. And it's what I've learned from all of my students. So what I've learned at lunch the other day, I was trying to put all this together in my head. And I was having lunch with a friend of mine. One thing about doing radio and TV for 20 years is you get to meet everybody. And I was having lunch with a dear friend of mine who is one of Mahatma Gandhi's grandsons. And we were just having some conversation. And he said, grandfather used to say. And when he said grandfather used to say, every fork went on that table. And he said, grandfather used to say, we must be the change we seek. And I went, that's it. That's why I've been teaching for 52 years. Because it dawned on me, when you become the change you seek, that brings out the best in your students. And when it brings out the best in your students, that brings out the best in you. Let's do that again. It's actually fairly profound. It's not just cheap graduation advice that any person who's giving this can do. I'm actually telling you that when you be the change you seek, when you bring out the best in others, that brings out the best in you. Whether you do it through research, whether you do it through teaching, whether you do it through administration, whether you do it for administrivia, whether you do it as a parent, when you're the change you seek, don't just bitch about it. Be the change you seek. Others will follow. When they follow, it brings out the best in you. So be the change you seek, bring out the best in others, and appreciate the best it brings to you. And I know here at UGA, our motto is to study and to inquire in the nature of things. And that's good. But what's even more important is when you bring out the best in others, that is truly the mark of an educated person. So guys, I'm finishing up. Maybe ChatGPT was right. Take a moment to reflect, take a moment to look at all you've learned, take a moment to, but ChatGPT got it wrong on one thing. They left out one very important thing. They left out that we need to take a moment and extol our love of knowledge. And in this day and age, when people don't think that knowledge matters, trust me, it matters more than ever before. So to all the change agents here, it includes you. Look the change you've made in these lives over here. Look what you have done that has so enhanced their lives. To all the change seekers in this room, and I mean this from my C.S. Lewis heart of hearts, my hope, my prayer, my wish for you this day, may your degree be translated into a palpable love of knowledge that will sustain you for a lifetime. And may that love of knowledge allow you to manifest the change you seek to yourself and all your loved ones. And when you do, it brings out the best in you. So I need to answer one final question before we finish. What is the one lesson that I have learned teaching these 52 years? Here it is. You see, I think my students have had a stronger impact on me than I have had on them. I'm going to say that again. I think my students that I've taught in these 52 years have had more of an impact on me than I have had on them. Now I'm going to finish up. I'm about to say I'm finished. I expect the applause to be first class because I have earned it. Don't you agree? Okay. Don't be cheap with your praise because it brings out the best in people. I have just one more thing to say. You're not going to remember my name. Just remember, it was that short old professor who said, when I bring out the best in others, it brings out the best in me. Now we got a student speaker coming up in just a second. And in case you haven't figured it out, public speaking is tough. Okay? So you need to start smiling more, every one of you out there. Okay? I just have one more thing to say before I turn it over to the student speaker and take your applause. Pay attention. Look at the screen. Go forth, you educated dogs. Thank you very much. Thank you. I don't mind.
Thank you so much.
My
for
pleasure.
that.
My pleasure.
As one of our honored traditions on the campus for our guest speaker, we have a presentation, a little something that you will do with as you will. I know you have a beautiful garden, and this will.
He wants to take your picture.
Yeah.
Is this the gift card? Oh, sorry, I wasn't. My pleasure.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sitting here flipping through the notebook looking for my speech, and I don't see it. Any clues here? I've practiced it enough I could probably say it, but there's one quote I need to get perfectly correct. Mhm. Well, in the meantime, if y'all are tired of sitting, you're welcome to stand up and stretch and shake around a little bit. There we go. Got it. Thank you, Melissa. Okay, I guess I could have done this while I was waiting for my speech to come up. I'm Pam Henry, the Program Coordinator for College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, and part of my job is, the favorite part of my job is I'm also the undergraduate advisor for our students that are in College of Ag. Hopefully each of you have a person in your life like this. I have several that are gifts that you know that when you cross paths with them or interact with them in any way, your day is guaranteed to be better. Today I have two of my advisees graduating, Colton and Tiana, and for me, those are two of my people. We can be hitting anything with so many potholes that along the way. And even when we're dealing with potholes, I'm going away encouraged after being with them. So thank you both. It has been an honor and a joy to have you in my life and to be part of your journey on this. Okay. Now I'm going to have to get the rest of the speech, and I'm not going to cry with this, I promise. Today I'm proud to introduce our student speaker, Tiana Deeb. Like many of our students, Tiana's educational journey has been a winding path. She started at UT Arlington, later earned an associate's degree in horticulture, a certificate in horticulture business management, and along the way became a certified arborist and a professional tree climber. And I've seen that girl swinging in the canopy of a big oak tree, and let me tell you, that is her happy place. Several years ago, she moved from Texas to Georgia to help with her in-laws' family farm and has been implementing organic farming practices and putting to good use her horticultural knowledge and her impressive organizational and business skills. But Tiana, being Tiana, wanted to broaden her expertise even more on conservation and sustainability. So she researched and found UGA Griffin. I need to give a little bit of back here. All of UGA Griffin's undergrads come to us as transfer students, as juniors. All of our undergrads have to get their first 2 years of core and prerequisites for their courses at another institution, so before they can even come here. So after I looked at Tiana's transcripts, I found out, despite all of her schooling, she still was missing credits in some important biology, chemistry, and math courses that she needed to get. So before we worked together for a couple of years, I think, before she actually was able to get here. And that's a lot of the place where we'll lose prospective students is during that time when they're at another institution. For Tiana, that's when I saw her kick into high gear. So that was in 2022. She has kicked into high gear with this, and I don't know when, by the time she started here, I don't know when or if she ever sleeps. That's based on when her emails are sent. When I get them at 8 o'clock the next morning, she's probably gotten about 2 hours of sleep by then. From juggling heavy course loads and research, work, family, the farm, and life in general, everything that gets thrown at her, any of those things that would cause someone with less grit to quit. For Tiana, she doesn't give up. She sets her eyes on the course and puts her hand on the plow and doesn't look back. And when she sees something, she excels. This year, she's been doing her undergraduate research with Dr. Bodie Panisi in horticulture. Dr. Bodie Panisi could not be here today, but she sent me this to say for Tiana, to read about Tiana. From my first acquaintance with Tiana, I knew she was going to be a great addition to our program. She's inquisitive, compassionate, hardworking, and has a wealth of experience. I am so proud of her achievements, and I look forward to her continuing academic journey. And you might not be able to tell from that. She ended with an exclamation mark. And from what I know of Dr. Panisi, she doesn't use many exclamation marks. She uses a lot of periods. So you earned an exclamation mark from Dr. Panisi. And about that continuing academic journey, I am so proud of both Colton and Tiana because both have been accepted into master's programs that start in January and to continue the undergraduate research they've already been doing in their different crop and soil and in horticulture. And I do want to say to you guys, I really hope you enjoy your couple of weeks off for Christmas break and catch up on some sleep because you're going to be hitting the road running in January. I could go on, but I would just much rather you meet and hear from her. Would y'all please welcome me in joining to welcome Ms. Tiana George Deeb.
Good morning, everyone. And thank you, Pamela, for that kind introduction. And I apologize in advance for any cliche graduation advice I give you during this speech. Thank you to the faculty, staff, families, and friends joining us here today, in person and online. Your presence is meaningful because the path that brought us here wasn't simple. For many of us, including myself, this was not a 4-year straight shot. It was a balancing act. Family, work, research, study, life, sleep deprivation, and a caffeine intake that should probably not be disclosed publicly. If our time here were plotted on a graph, the line would not be smooth. There would be spikes of momentum, plateaus of exhaustion, and the occasional data point that didn't make sense at all. Because let's be honest, none of our tread lines would pass a normality test. But the trend upward, always upward. And here we are, class of 2025. Before anything else, disclaimer, I'm a yoga teacher, so I'm gonna make y'all take a breath. I would invite everyone to close your eyes or just find a soft gaze, and let's just take one deep, intentional breath together. Let that breath make space for pride, for relief, and for gratitude. Every person wearing a cap and gown today has traveled a long, personal, sometimes painful, but often beautiful road to reach this moment. And here we are. We did all of that while carrying responsibilities, hopes, losses, goals, and the heaviness of navigating life in uncertain times. And today is not just a celebration of finishing. It's a moment to say, we see you. We see what it took to get here. And that's something special, too, about Griffin specifically, that this isn't a large campus, but that's what makes these connections run so deep. Here, people don't just pass each other. We truly see each other. For me, Griffin was a place where my roles didn't clash. They coexisted. I wasn't just a student here. I was a mother, a researcher, a woman trying to keep all the pieces balanced, and this campus held that with compassion. It held me with compassion. And though the details differ for everyone, each of us carried a full life alongside our studies. We learned to navigate the unexpected, to adapt, to steady ourselves when things tilted. Somehow, we made it to this shared moment. The world we're stepping into holds a lot of uncertainty. But in our fields, whether we study plants, insects, pathogens, soils, business, or people, we know that uncertainty isn't a problem to erase. It's the starting point. It's where hypotheses form, where curiosity stirs, where new questions take root. In our fields, certainty is rare. What we commit to is the pursuit of learning and the discipline to keep moving. And that pursuit of understanding, as all of us have learned, is almost never linear. But this class learned how to function within that messiness. We learned to adapt when timelines fractured, to recalibrate when information changed, to breathe through the days that felt like they were working against us. We learned how to try again, not blindly, but with intention. Even if sometimes that intention was simply, we're doing this because the deadline is tomorrow. We're graduating at a moment when the world needs people who can handle complexity with resilience. And if UGA has taught us anything, it's that we are those people. And because no one grows alone, I want to take this moment to acknowledge the people who shaped my journey. To Pamela Henry, my advisor, thank you. You opened a door that changed the entire trajectory of my life. I am here today because you made space for me to be here. To Dr. Bodhi Panisi, soon to be my graduate advisor, thank you for seeing potential in me long before I could see it in myself. To Dr. Musi, a mentor, a supporter, and someone who literally showed up for my wedding. To my classmate and friend, Colton, we weathered this program together. The study dates, that we've got this pep talks, the moments where we were convinced that we probably didn't have this. To the staff, faculty, and mentors across this campus, thank you for making UGA Griffin feel more like a community and less like just an institution. A place where we were known, a place where we were held. And finally, to my family, to my daughter, you are the reason that I kept going. You give me power and purpose and the motivation to shape a better future. To my husband, thank you for weathering the breakdowns, the sleepless stretches, for your encouragement, your flexibility, and for making all of this possible. And to my parents, thank you for giving me the foundation I needed to grow into the person I am today. And for everyone I didn't name individually, I promise it's not for lack of gratitude, it's because y'all are probably already tired of hearing me talk. And I know that this narrative is true for everyone here. The list is different, but every graduate in this room is here because someone believed in them, fed them, encouraged them, or just reminded them to get some sleep. If these years taught us anything, it's that we grow best in environments where we are supported, just like every system we study. And just as the systems respond to stress by adapting, recalibrating, and finding new balance, so did we. These years taught us to adjust to shifting conditions and still move forward. So I invite you to think back to that version of yourself when you first arrived on this campus. Who you were at the beginning and who you are now is not the same, and that's the point. Growth brought resilience. Success brought confidence. Connection brought depth. And all of it prepares you for what comes next. As we step into whatever comes next, graduate school, new jobs, continuing work, new cities, or simply new chapters, uncertainty will follow us. That part doesn't change. But neither does our curiosity. Neither does our courage. Neither does our resilience. We are not just graduates. We are problem solvers. We are caretakers of land, data, ecosystems, and people. We are researchers, educators, practitioners, and leaders entering fields that urgently need thoughtful, steady, curious minds. We are equipped. We are grounded. We are ready. And if we're not ready, we're at least resourceful, which honestly counts for more. Class of 2025, look at what you've already learned to navigate. Look at what you've already overcome. You have proven that you can create in uncertain conditions, that you can adapt when everything shifts, and that you can rise when life feels heavier than your schedule. Carry that with you. Lead with compassion. Stay curious. Stay kind. And never underestimate the power of the next intentional breath, because I'm going to make you do it again. Everyone, shut down your eyes or find that soft gaze, and let's take one more breath together. Think of that as your last deep breath before the next chapter. Class of 2025. Congratulations to each of you and to everyone who was a part of your journey. Go Dogs.
Thank you, Tiana. We are honored to have you as part of our UGA Griffin family. Please join me in giving her one more round of applause. Here we are, the moment for which we have gathered. Students, you have worked hard to be considered candidates for graduation, and it is our honor to acknowledge your efforts today. Families, friends, faculty, and staff, we appreciate your presence today as you have been an integral part of this journey. We honor you and say congratulations to you as well. A special part of being a student on this campus is receiving and laying the bricks in front of our Student Learning Center, making our graduates forever part of this campus. And following the recessional, we will have each of our soon-to-be UGA graduates place their bricks in front of the Student Learning Center. These bricks commemorate the hard work, dedication, and commitment it took to complete your University of Georgia degree. We will share a little more instruction on how we'll organize the laying of the bricks a bit later in the ceremony. Now, our campus is very proud not only of having degrees offered by 4 of UGA's colleges, but we're also incredibly pleased to be able to offer both undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today, we will celebrate candidates for bachelor's, master's, specialist, and doctoral degrees from 3 of those 4 colleges. Families, we do have photographers capturing photos of your students, and a link to these photos will be emailed to the students a few days after the ceremony. So thank you, Rick Blackshear and our campus IT staff for making this possible. Now, class of 2025, are you ready? Are you? Are you sure? All right, let's begin. All right, Dr. Dean, please come to the stage. And we would be honored to have Dr. Perry Buffington join Dr. Dean. We're also proud to have UGA Associate Vice President of Instruction, Dr. William Vinsel, with us. Dr. Vinsel, would you join them on the stage? Franklin College of Arts and Sciences representative, Ms. Faith Chapman. Program director, please come to the stage. For the Franklin College of Arts and Sciences, Morgan Riley Schultz, Bachelor of Science, Microbiology, and Bachelor of Science, Psychology, Neuroscience, emphasis, and Bachelor of Science, Biology, summa cum laude. Thank you, Ms. Chapman. Dr. Manpreet Singh, Associate Dean for the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, and Ms. Pamela Henry, Program Coordinator for the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. Will you join the others on the stage? For the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, Tiana Deeb, Bachelor of Science in Environmental Resource Science. Colton Jones, Bachelor of Science in Environmental Resource Science. Dr. Ann Schaefer, Associate Dean for the Graduate School, will you join us on the stage? Major professors of our master's candidates, please stand when your name is called as your student comes to the stage. Jessica Abisab, Master of Science, Crop and Soil Sciences. Jessica's major professor is Dr. David Jesperson. Lois Mpanza, Master of Science, Food Science and Technology. Lois's major professor is Dr. Jinru Chen. Charishma Nadvala, Master of Science, Agricultural and Applied Economics. Charishma's major professor is Dr. Flakowski. Rachel Amobojeyo, Master of Science, Crop and Soil Sciences. Rachel's major professor is Dr. Musi Habtasalasi. Our next student is a PhD candidate for the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. Javier Cruz Padilla, Food Science and Technology, Doctor of Philosophy, Major Professor Dr. Kevin Misoval. Dr. Misoval, please join your student on the stage. Our candidate for the Mary Frances Early College of Education was unexpectedly unable to join us, but we would like to honor Ronnie Holland, Educational Specialist, Mathematics Education, Pre-K through 8. Ronnie's major professor is Dr. Robin Overick. Dr. Overick, if you'd stand. And Dr. Scott Ardoin, Associate Dean for the Mary Frances Early College of Education, joined us as well. Thank you very much. Thank you to each of our individuals on the stage. You may be seated. Let's give all of our amazing students a well-deserved round of applause. Congratulations, class of 2025. And now we will welcome to the stage Ms. Jessica Abisab, who will lead us in the alma mater.
Good morning, everyone. It's such an honor to be singing on my graduation. So welcome, and I invite you all to please stand up for the alma mater. We are going to be singing the first and the last verse as well as the chorus. From the hills of Georgia's northland beams thy noble brow, and the sons of Georgia rising pledge with sacred vow. Alma mater, thee we'll honor, true and loyal be, ever crowned with praise and glory. Georgia, hail to thee. Through the ages, alma mater, men will look to thee. Thou, the fairest of the Southland, Georgia's varsity. Alma mater, thee we'll honor, true and loyal be, ever crowned with praise and glory. Georgia, hail to thee. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Garrett Mack. I have the honor to represent the University of Georgia Alumni Association, an organization you are now officially a part of, if not a prior graduate of the University of Georgia. Today we celebrate not just an academic achievement, but a milestone that will shape the rest of your lives, as our prior speakers have illustrated and summarized. On behalf of the University of Georgia Alumni Association, I want to say congratulations. You've earned your place among more than 350,000 living alumni spread across every continent nearly and every country nearly on this globe. As you leave this campus, remember that the University of Georgia is more than a place. It's a community, it's a network, it's a lifelong source of strength. The friendships you've built here, the challenges you've overcome, the lessons you've learned will serve as a foundation as you pursue future opportunities that are well ahead of you. But graduation isn't the end of your UGA story, it's the beginning of a new chapter. As alumni, you carry forward the values of leadership, integrity, service that define the Bulldog spirit. Whether you're starting a career, pursuing further education, exploring new paths, know that you're never alone. The Alumni Network is here to support you, mentor you, and cheer you on. So stay connected. Join your local alumni chapter. Give back when you can through your time, your talents, your voice, because when Bulldogs help Bulldogs, incredible things happen. Finally, as you step into the world, remember the words that unite us all. Commit to the G, commit to excellence, commit to community, commit to making a difference. Congratulations, welcome to the alumni family, and go Dogs.
So before we close, I do want to make certain to give my personal thanks to our visitors from the administrative ranks over in Athens. I know that coming over in early December, making a 2-hour trip to honor our graduate students can be a real trial, particularly for those like me who are going to turn and rush back 2 hours to Athens to participate in the College of Agriculture's convocation this afternoon. Certainly our graduates appreciate it, and we're honored by you taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us today. So with that, once again, on behalf of the University of Georgia and the Griffin campus, congratulations to each of you on your outstanding achievement. Today, we celebrate not only your academic success, but also the dedication, resilience, and hard work that brought you here. We wish you the very best of luck as you embark on the next leg of your journey, and we look forward to cheering your successes in the years ahead. Thank you to all the families who stood by these graduates through the early mornings, the late nights, the panic attacks, the writer's blocks, and every other barrier that challenged them. These graduates were powered through every barrier and buoyed by your love and support. Thank you also to the dedicated faculty and staff for your unwavering commitment to these students, as well as your tireless efforts to share your knowledge and wisdom with them. And thank you to the many honored guests for your desire to help recognize this proud tradition and the achievements of this latest crop of Georgia graduates. Now, following the recessional, we invite you to join us at a reception designed to bring together the graduates, faculty, and families to share memories and to celebrate this milestone. Light refreshments will be served courtesy of our sponsor, Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Ryan Peavyhouse, who's been a great friend to this campus for many years. And this will all be going on in the first floor of the Student Learning Center, the big building behind me across the road there. Although the winter weather has forced this ceremony indoors, our bricklaying tradition continues, as you already heard. Graduates will process from here in a moment to the front of the Student Learning Center, where they will lay their personal brick, a symbolic act that enshrines their place in the proud history of the UGA Griffin campus. We will have a photographer there capturing that bricklaying, and we certainly invite you to also take your own personal photos with the graduates at that location. Also, before you leave, we invite you to tour the campus and visit your favorite spots. Show them off to your guests and families. Visit the campus store, which will be open until 1 o'clock, and buy whatever swag suits your fancy to take with you on whatever world travels or lay ahead. And don't forget to take a picture or two under the flagpole with UGA. I'm sure those of you with small family members wouldn't mind having them riding on UGA's back, and that certainly makes for a great photo. Graduates, you now join more than 340,000 alumni as part of the Bulldog Nation. We hope that you will return often and share, to visit, not only to visit your brick, but also to share with us the stories of your success and future findings. We know you have a great future ahead. Congratulations, and go Dogs.
Thank you.